The idea is that I won't believe it unless you can prove it from Scripture. But that's similar to when an atheist says, I won't believe it unless you can prove it from science. You know, when I say God exists, many atheists will say to me, where's your proof? Where's the scientific evidence? Prove it with science. Well, I have this philosophical argument that's sound. No, I don't want word salad. I want scientific proof. All right, well, what's science? Science is a way of cataloging, describing, and understanding the natural physical world, a way of understanding how matter and energy interact with one another in the space-time universe. I can't use science to find God any more than I could use a flashlight to find its own batteries. Or it's like using a yardstick to weigh a chicken, or trying to find a diamond on the beach using a metal detector. You're using the wrong tool, but it doesn't mean that the quest itself is futile. And so what's interesting here is when I see many Protestants have great arguments against sola scientia. So Greg Koukl, who's a Protestant apologist, he talks about how by science alone doesn't work. He says this: imagine you wanted to collect all knowledge in a box. Let's call it the truth box. Before any alleged truth could go into the box, it must first pass the scientific truth test. That something has to be proven with science. The problem is that your knowledge project can never get started because some truths need to be in the truth box first before science could begin its analysis. And Greg is right. In order to say that things have to be proven by science, I have to first know what science is, that science works. I have to know about metaphysical truths, that the laws of science are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So if everything has to be proven by science, I can't prove anything because I can't prove the very thing I'm using for this test. It's self-refuting. But then you see where the problem arises here. Just replace a truth box that requires a scientific test with a doctrine box. Doctrine just means truth. That has to pass a scriptural test. That everything that goes in the doctrine, because what Greg Koukl would end up doing is saying it can only be in the doctrine box if it passes the scriptural test. I find it explicitly in Scripture. But as he says, the problem is that your knowledge project could never get started. Well, what is Scripture? I'd have to answer that question first, and I have to run it through the filter, but I don't know what my Scripture box is. It ends up being self-refuting in that respect.